All right, everybody, we're back here. Get ready for the next one. We've got Tim Krupp, president and owner of Krupp Moving and Storage, who has built a world-class sales team and is achieving a remarkable 96% referral rate. He specializes in local, long distance, and commercial moving. And he's here to give us a little lowdown on how to train and manage sales reps so that they perform at the highest level. Tim will be sharing his extensive 3-week training process that each and every one of his sales reps goes through, both at Krupp Moving and Storage and Mover Bees. Welcome, Tim Krupp. How are you?
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Doing well. Well, hey, the show is all yours, Tim. Appreciate you hopping on, and really excited to hear how you train and manage sales reps so they perform at the highest level, especially after going through a season like 2023. So let's get after it.
All right. Awesome. Okay, we're going to jump right into it here. I've got a lot to cover. I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to move fairly fast through this today, but when we're done here, you'll have enough information. If you don't already have a training SOP for your salespeople, if you don't already have an SOP or a process for managing your salespeople, when you leave here today, you'll have enough information to start creating that. All right. So we're just going to hop right into it. Building an unstoppable sales team. Just a little bit about me. Again, my name's Tim Krupp. I started my company Krupp Moving and Storage in 2005. We now have three moving companies. We have Worcester, Ohio, Summit Moving in Akron, Ohio, and we also have a Krupp Moving and Storage down in Columbus. I created a centralized call center for my 3 moving companies. And then we started offering our service to other companies, to sell for other companies. And it quickly, we found a need. It quickly turned into kind of its own thing. And that's how Move Bees was birthed. So this presentation was put together by my admin team over at Move Bees. And this reflects the way that we train all of our salespeople, how we manage them, inside salespeople. And this also applies to my outside salespeople here at my moving companies as well. Also go through this process. I'm married to my wife, Autumn, and I have 2 kids, Jonah, who is 14, and Phoebe, who is 12 years old. All right. So to have an unstoppable sales team, it requires 3 things. Smart hiring, first of all, is super important. You need great training and you need quality management. Salespeople must be managed to perform at their highest. Smart hiring includes defining your preferred employee. At Move Bees, there are 3 profiles that we look for to assess if candidates are a right fit for our company or not. Here's 3 profiles that we have identified when it comes to hiring. The sales professional. This is somebody who is already in sales of some sort. Maybe it's not moving, maybe it's cars, maybe it's insurance. It could be anything. They can be great. They can hit the ground running. Of course, some of the deficits of that are you may have to undo some things and retrain them on your sales processes. The mover. We've actually had really good success with promoting movers into sales, especially inside sales at Move Bees. Now, I will say that the people we have promoted are movers who came in, did a great job, but you knew that this was probably a transitional job for this person, that they were probably going to go on to do something else at some point. And we were able to kind of like scoop in and give them a path forward. And just because of the knowledge of moving and being able to speak to it, having done it so much, they're able to earn customers' trust and respect pretty fast. The weakness is they may need help sounding professional sometimes on the phone. The one with wild potential. So this is going to be a person that maybe is not even in sales, doesn't have any moving experience. They're a blank canvas. All right. They don't come with any baggage. So that's one of the best part. That's you can train them to do things just the way that you want to. But the weakness is they're new to sales and new to moving. So they require maybe a little bit more training. A couple tips from our experience. You want to hear what they sound like on the phone. All right. So part of the interview process will be you're going to want to screen a voicemail from them, capture a voicemail, see the things that they say, hear the tone in their voice. Hopefully they sound positive and they have a good voice on the phone. Obviously, you want to Google them, check them out, Facebook, stalk them. And then ask the interviewee what they know about your company. And what you're looking for here is you're hoping that this person took the time to go to your website and read the content on your website, watch videos on your website, and hopefully they're gonna, regurgitate some of that stuff that they picked up there. So that's a good key indicator that they might be a good candidate for you. Here's a couple of our favorite questions. Why are you looking for a job change? Why do you want to work for movies? Very obvious. When was the last time you experienced personal or professional growth? And tell us about it. And then tell me about a time when you were not satisfied with your performance. Tell me about a time when you went the extra mile, when it would have been just as acceptable to perform at the bare minimum. Why did you exert that effort and what was the outcome? And then I love this last question. What would be the ideal manager or supervisor for you? You know what? One thing I forgot to say before I continue, my presentation is going to take a majority of this time here today. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, I'm going to be on the Q&A panel a little bit later today, and I think that's at 3:30 or 3:35 today. So I'll be there. Hold those questions, bring them there, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about that stuff. All right, the 3 essential qualities that we're looking for in a candidate that we've identified, at least for us. We're looking for people who are hungry. We're looking for people who are humble, and we're looking for people who are smart or have capacity to learn. And we do have a book that we like a lot over at MoveBees that we'll suggest to you guys, The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni. All right, now we're going to go ahead and hop right into great training. All right, great training. Week 1, company crash course and role play sales practices. Week 2 is shadowing, which there are 3 phases of shadowing. We're going to go deeper on all of these. And then week 9 is going to be graduate to virtual sales or potentially even on-site estimating, depending on what we're training this person for. All right, day 1, going a little bit deeper in this. We go over the big picture and intro into the moving industry. We talk about core values of our company, mission statement, those types of things. We start with we tell them our mission. We talk about our customer as well, the felt needs of our target customer, so consultants can forge connections and sell great service. Also, we feel that it's very important to teach our salespeople about the moving industry, like the nuts and bolts of it, like loading trucks, what tiers look like, how to pack boxes, what different boxes are used for. We go really deep into those things. Get specific about sales. We talk about the challenges that we face in the moving industry in selling moves. We explain to them about lead capture and the different entrance points through which leads might come in. We talk about rates. We teach them at MoveBees, we're selling for people all over the United States, right? So we might be selling for companies that have hourly. We sell for companies that do flat rates. And then there's also companies that have to offer like a not to exceed estimate. So we take the time to teach them all the different ways that moving companies charge. And then we teach them also like why we would do a phone estimate, what parameters, why we do virtuals, why that's important, and then why we set appointments for on-sites. We educate our salespeople about moving day. We go as far as we teach them about weight versus cubic feet and how to convert that back and forth to get the weight of a shipment. We talk about, like I say, actual performing the move and what that looks like and what it looks like to dress a house and get it all prepped before we start moving and just the whole process of moving. We talk about the things that could go wrong on a move. Now, in this part of the training, this is something that you can have a little bit of fun with. We do. If you've owned a moving company for any period of time, you probably have some funny stories that you can tell about things that went wrong on moves. I know that we've got a whole bunch of them over the years, and we usually get some good laughs, and it kind of lightens up the room for a little bit. So that's an opportunity to have a little bit of fun during your training. All right, so back to performing the move, just going a little bit deeper in that. So here's some of the topics that you can talk about. The walkthrough, as I already said, furniture padding, protecting homes. We have video on all of this stuff that we show them so they can actually see a visual of what this stuff looks like. Crating, we have to teach them how to figure out what size crate, how to charge for it. We talk about the things that moving companies typically do not move. We talk about pod storage. At my companies, we do offer pods, and we also sell for other companies that offer that as well. So we do teach that. Box sizes, how to pack them, what the different box sizes are used for. We teach inventories for storage shipment and for long distance, so they understand that process and they can speak to it when they have a customer that has a job that will need to be inventoried. We talk about all the different types of piano moves, baby grands and uprights and spinets, so they can identify, know if the customer takes a picture, sends it to them, they know what they're dealing with, they know how to quote it, they know how to put proper notes in. And then we also talk about bulky items such as safes. All right, that was day one. I know we're moving pretty fast through this. Day two, we're going to get into sales scripts. Hopefully you have a great sales script. If you don't have one, Louis Massaro's sales script is a great place to start. If you're using Smart Moving, it's already loaded in there. You could take that script and kind of, make it your own. But if you don't have a sales script, especially with rebuttals and all that, make sure that you get one, make sure that your people are using it. So they're saying all the things that need to be said every single time without fail. But we get into sales scripts, we also get into processes, and then we start getting into the CRMs that we use and that we work through. Your sales scripts and for phone estimates. The intro, assess the best way to build a report, ask the essential questions, and then paint the picture. Talk about what it's going to look like to actually do that move. We gather inventory, guiding the customer through, making sure that the salesperson has control of that sale from beginning to end. We never ask a customer, okay, start telling me what you have. It's always, would you please go to the master bedroom and tell me all the big pieces of furniture that you're going to be moving in the master bedroom. And we start there and we guide them room by room through the whole house. And then we have a bunch of follow-up questions for other rooms or outdoor storage, outdoor furniture, all those types of things. So always maintain control throughout that process. If you lose control, your closing ratio goes down substantially. And then obviously we teach them about overcoming objections, all of the typical objections that you're going to get. We have rebuttals for those, and then sell your service. And then once again, paint the picture, ask for the business. Your company processes. Every incoming lead receives a CMET 2+1. All right, so this is stuff that, again, that we've adopted from Louis Massaro. I've been through a lot of his training. I was a private client even at one point. This is the best thing that we found so far out there. Although, we have tweaked things and found, little things to change to make things a little bit better. But every lead that comes in, we CMET 2+1. So that means we are going to call, leave a message, email, and text twice the first day, and then once the second day to try and get a hold of these customers. And then all quoted moves is going to be, we follow up 5 times, different ways. Okay. And this slide goes a little bit deeper into all the different ways that we're going to do that. But these need to be done every single time without fail, and it needs to be monitored as well. And that's where the management piece of this comes in a little bit later. All right. Introducing them to the CRM, show them how to make a quote, where to put in notes, how to create an inventory, and what notes are most important, the things that you want to see every single time without fail on every inventory, on every estimate. We show them how to use the templates that are built into all the major CRMs. whether we're going to be doing the CMET, trying to reach out to leads, the SMSs and emails that we're going to send them, or whether we're doing the 5X follow-up. All those templates are built out there, and we show them how to use them and how to program a time for them for the next follow-up. So there's a flow to the whole thing. We talk about scheduling appointments and reading dispatch calendars for capacity and understanding the capacity at a glance from the dispatch calendars. All right, day three. Day three, we go over VoIP systems. At my companies, we use RingCentral and DialPad, and then we get into sales call practice. So for the VoIP system, we just go over the basics with them, how to view their direct line voicemails and text, how to set do not disturb when it's appropriate, any relevant group chats. We have a group chat that is this kind of always going between our teams because they work together on a lot of things. And it's also good for culture. There's a lot of fun conversations happening throughout the day on those. Voicemail expectations. If a call goes to voicemail, which we never want to happen. Our goal is for 0 calls to go to voicemail for all the companies we work for. But every once in a while, a call may go to voicemail. You need to monitor what is acceptable as far as a timeline that needs to be. That customer needs to be reached out to. And again, we'll talk about that more when it comes to the management piece. And then analytics, we also show them how they can see their own performance will be tracked in RingCentral or in DialPad. So they can monitor and see like how they're doing. And again, we'll get deeper into the things that we track in there in the reports that we're going to be pulling. All right, now we get into a little bit of role playing. So the first time we bring in a veteran salesperson and have a conversation with the new hire watching. The second time, role playing being the customer and let the new hire be the sales rep with your company script. And when we do this, a lot of times, the person that you're gathering the inventory from, like the other sales rep, they're just giving you the inventory from their house, right? Just from memory, right? The third time, pair them up with another new hire and have them both role play in both roles. Have them secure a family member, like call their mom, call their sister, and mock doing an estimate for them, gathering inventory from their actual house. And you can have them do this with packing, without packing. You can have them do it with storage, without storage. You can do a long distance if you want to do a long distance. But we use this a lot. We have them call everybody that they know. It's really a good way for them to go ahead and get, hopefully 8, 10, 12 estimates under their belt. Really get to know the CRM well and where everything is in the inventory. All right, moving on to day 4, we're going to get into sales techniques and objections. Sales techniques with types of customers. The customer who is concerned with quality, talk about how great the movers are. The customer who downplays the amount of inventory. Making sure that our sales reps are asking questions and really digging in and just trying to find out everything that could possibly be there to get that information out of that customer who thinks that for some reason, if they shortchange the amount of inventory that they have, that their move is going to cost less, because we all know that it's not. The customer who is only concerned about cost. Talk about the ways your estimate saves them money. Offer helpful ways for them to whittle down the cost by being prepared. The customer who just wants the ballpark price. Stand your ground. We don't give hourly rates. Anytime a customer calls in, we are going to put them in our process and we are going to gather an inventory from them so that we can give them an actual quote. And so we actually have something to sell. You don't have any time to build value if you're just giving rates over the phone. And then also, if you're just giving rates over the phone, there's a good chance that information is not making it into the CRM. So it's a lose-lose for us. The customer who just loves to talk. And again, this comes back to taking control of the conversation and guiding that sale, guiding that customer through the process. All right, let's talk about overcoming objections a little bit. Let your customer talk, hear them out, make them feel heard, acknowledge and empathize, identify the objections that they have or flush out any objections that they have, and then go towards that objection. Acknowledge their reason, but reassure them that they can move forward with your service. Go back to painting the picture. Go back to building more value in the service that you're offering, and make sense of it for them. Here's a couple common objections. If you haven't written any rebuttals yet, these are very common ones that we found that you should have rebuttals for each of these. I have to talk with my spouse partner. We'll just rent a truck and do it ourselves. I found a better quote or a cheaper price somewhere else. I want to take my time and do more research on your company, maybe BBB, maybe Google. Or I'm waiting on my house sells, or I'm still waiting on information from the title company. And that's a good opportunity to create a little bit of urgency. Rebuttal scripts. Make sure your salespeople are equipped with rebuttal scripts to be able to lean on when they feel stuck at an impasse. All right. Invite feedback. Ask what needs further explanation. Offer time to talk about any part of the company crash course that they would like to review. Miscellaneous topics that might have not gotten covered. This is at the end of the day. I'm sorry. We're doing a review at this point. So we're reviewing. At the end of each day, you should have a review where there's a time where you just answer questions and just kind of open it up for them. All right, now we're getting into days 5 through 10, where we're going to start shadowing. Shadowing phase 1. You watch, I do. So the sales rep is just sitting there with one of your, make sure you pair them with one of your really good reps, right? So somebody who's always following process, doing the things that the way that you want them done, so you don't have to undo anything. So definitely put them with like one of your top dog salespeople, and they're just going to sit there and they're just going to watch and learn, and then ask questions in between phone calls and between clients and stuff like that. A shadowing phase 2 is we're going to do it together. The trainee is allowed to answer inbound calls and start the sales conversation by asking essential questions about the move before handing off to an experienced sales rep. Also in phase 2, we're going to go ahead and let them for just incoming leads, like Equate Media leads, or for any type of form fills or whatever. We're going to let them go ahead and start working on some CMET 2+1s while they're shadowing as well. Phase 3 of shadowing, you do, I watch. So they're actually answering phone calls. They're kind of doing it all, but you've got, again, one of your top dog salespeople with them, helping them along the way, training them, maybe even reaching over and grabbing the mouse and helping them find some stuff on the inventory and getting them through that process. All right. So at that point, the sales rep, we go ahead and we start letting them sell on their own. They're closely monitored. When they get to week 9, then we're going to introduce them to, after they've really been trained well, then we're going to let them potentially do some virtuals. And there's some continuing training that we'll do just for virtual stuff. And then maybe they're graduating to go do on-sites for one of my companies as well. So, which also happens. Just about every sales rep I have in my moving company started in inside sales and then moved on to become an outside salesperson. Why wait 9 weeks? A lot gets revealed about a person in 60 days. For better or for worse, sending someone prematurely to a customer's home or to do a virtual ends up not being who you thought and can be a risk. Training reps to do virtuals. Obviously show them the technology that you use. We're currently using VMT, Live Switch. A lot of people are using Live Switch and really like that service. Dialpad, we're with Dialpad. We can send out a video right through Dialpad. So there's a lot of great options out there, but you're going to teach them the technology, teach them how to guide the customer through the house. Again, keeping control, starting with the main bedroom. That's just where we always start. That's our anchor point for the master bedroom. Teach how to check and discuss smaller items like frames, mirrors, and wall hanging items. And then we get into packing and teach them how to build a packing list and the appropriate boxes and stuff that they're going to need to be able to do that. When it comes to training reps to do on-sites, just a couple of the training points here, just real quick on this is we teach a lot of etiquette that you would want your reps to have when they're in a customer's house. We teach them how to work up estimates on the spot, right? You have to be able to do this on the spot and be able to present why you're still at the customer's house. If you're listening to this and that's not something that your on-site reps are doing right now, move towards that. That'll be the biggest thing that you can do for your on-site reps, is getting them to do that every single time. Their closing ratio will go up quite a bit. It's the number one thing that you could be doing. And the other great part of that is if you sell the job while you're there, you don't have to do any follow-up. Show them the calendar tools that the office staff will use to notify them when they have an estimate, so they can monitor that. And then have them practice using your company's CRM on a tablet. It's a lot of times it's a little bit different. The CRMs look a little bit different on a tablet than it looks like on a desktop or on a laptop. So make sure that they're comfortable with that as well. All right, moving right along, we're going to get into a little bit of management stuff of how we manage our salespeople. We're going to talk about monitoring calls, quality and process checks. We're going to talk about some goals and spiffs type stuff to help motivate them. And we're also going to talk about some of the reports that we're monitoring all the time. Monitoring calls. All right. We talk about outbound versus inbound calls. We monitor their talk time. We listen to samples of call recordings, and then voicemail follow-up. So we're monitoring how long voicemails sit for any type of sales rep. If something goes to voicemail, happens more for on-site reps than for our inside sales reps. But if those are sitting for any length of time, that's bad. So you want to be monitoring that. Outbound versus inbound calls. Low outbound calls, if your rep doesn't have a lot of outbound calls, may suggest that they are not following the CMET process and only texting or emailing, right? Inbound, if they have modest or low number of inbound calls, it could be low call volume that needs fixed elsewhere. However, if there's a high amount of missed calls, this correlation needs to be addressed. Talk time. All right, so for an inside sales rep, we're looking for about 75 outbound calls per day or 4 hours of talk time. Now, the 4 hours of talk time, if a sales rep is doing phone sales, like inside sales, but they're also doing virtuals, their virtuals should count towards their talk time that day. A couple other analytics that might be helpful is average speed to answer the phone. We do look at that. You can track that in most VoIPs, at least the major ones. The amount of missed calls, in average hold time if customers are getting put on hold. All right, so this is a form that we have, something you could create for your toolbox if you want. So this is calls answered in time on the phone. All right, this is what this form looks like. This is for an employee that we're putting under monitor, that we really want to take a close look at the amount of inbound calls, the amount of answered calls, percentage of total inbound calls that they answered, amount of outbound calls, and time on the phone. All right, to help get them back on track. So this isn't for every employee every single week or every single day, but if somebody is on, needs to be monitored, we're trying to get them to do a little bit better. This is the form that we would be using. And you could create something like this. Call recording samplings. We randomly sample 2 calls per week per rep. For an underperforming rep, we're looking at 5 calls a week until we get a noted improvement. Some VoIP systems have AI enhanced call sampling, including transcripts. So the transcripts are helpful because you can get through through transcripts faster than you can listening to calls. So you can monitor more calls, and especially if you're looking for certain things that need to be said, or certain things that you're looking for that you do not want to be said, it can be very helpful. Coaching, if a rep needs to improve, one of the biggest things we do is we find maybe a call that wasn't the best, and we sit down and we just listen to it with the rep, and we ask the rep, what could you have done better on that? What would you change if you could do that phone call over? And we just have a good conversation about that. So it's a positive experience. But also if your reps have a great sales call, sit down with them and listen to that. Maybe let the whole team listen to it at a company meeting. Like, hey, this was just, Adam just had a great sales call. I want everybody to hear it. This is exactly what we want you guys to sound like. Make sure you give them the recognition. Voicemail follow-up. Your voicemail inbox is a graveyard. Your policy should be that no calls should go to voicemail, but if one slips through, you need a system to save that lead. Returning calls from voicemail is a team effort. Whoever is free must prioritize calling that customer back. Have a manager monitor the voicemail bin for your company with help of notifications. All right, getting into quality and process checks a little bit here. Processes to police. Estimate accuracy. All the major CRMs, that's a report you can pull. You can take a look at like, hey, what their estimates are and actually what they're closing out at, and keep an eye on that. Contacting leads and following up, making sure they're following that process. And for on-site people, on-site etiquette. And I will say also for, for virtual people who are doing virtuals, they need to look good, especially if they're going to be seen like we're doing here today. They need to be like business casual, is where maybe if somebody who's just on the phone is never going to be seen. If they're just in a t-shirt, that's not that big of a deal. But all of our virtual people, we ask them to dress business casual for virtuals. Estimate accuracy. We're looking, before the job happens, did the rep leave detailed notes to the office, to the customer, and to the crew? Are there charges in the bill reflective of the work the estimate promises the crew will do? If not, is there an explanation of those notes? Review after the job happens. How much did the job's invoice diverge from the original quote? Does this discrepancy show up as a pattern in the sales rep's estimating? All right, another form for your toolbox. Lead opportunity evaluation. This form is a random sample evaluation measuring whether the rep asked all of the essential questions, the quality of their note-taking, access conditions, inventory completion, and follow-up after the quote was given. Contacting leads and following up. Review their active leads. Is there a future follow-up scheduled for each lead on their list? That's something you can do in any of the major CRMs. Every time you do a follow-up, you're scheduling your very next one. So it just comes up as a notification and you just handle it. If they're just trying to fly by the seat of their pants and go through all their open estimates that they have and all of their quotes and just calling people randomly, that's not the right process. Their lost leads. Did the sales rep conduct a proper CMET 2+1 and 5X follow-up? And then leads that needed a virtual. Did the sales rep send the estimate within 24 hours of the virtual? And I would even go as far as to say that like 24 hours, that's too much time. If you're doing a virtual, and I know sometimes you can get busy or whatever, but man, that thing should be going out the same day within like the next hour or two, if at all possible, with a follow-up call. Generally, what I like to do with virtuals, if at all possible, we tell our reps the best thing to do is once you have it prepared is to reach out to that customer and let them know that you have the estimate prepared and you just want that you need to go over it with them and make sure that everything is accurate. Because if you just send it to them and then do a follow-up call, they already have what they want. They don't necessarily want to speak to your rep again. So the best process is to call them, get them to call you, send it to them, and then go over it together. That'll give you a better opportunity to sell that virtual. You know, the interesting thing is virtuals, we've found in my companies, and I've talked to other moving company owners about this as well. Virtuals tend to be the lowest converting. They're lower than on-sites, of course, but phones generally convert a little bit higher even than virtuals do. Maybe that's not the same in all markets, but we're working with people in a lot of different markets. But there's a use case for a virtual. There's just times when that's what you have to do. Another form for your toolbox is follow-up evaluation. It's a snapshot report showing the health of a rep's current leads and related to follow-ups. Here's what it measures: lead opportunities that are behind schedule, stale leads, and any lead opportunities that aren't following the process. Managing with reports. On-site etiquette. Did the sales rep, this is for on-site salespeople, things that we do follow-up calls and ask customers, some of these questions, like, did they contact you ahead of time, let you know that they were coming? Did they provide you with a sales folder? Did they wear the booties and put the booties on? And we just want to know that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. So we do some follow-up on them and do a little homework and make sure that they're following the process. On-site follow-ups. Check for quality on the following. Did the rep write thank you notes for the customers they visited? So our on-site people, when they get home or when they get back to the office after doing on-sites, we have them write thank you notes to all their prospective customers. And they just submit them in the office. So it's easy to find out if they're actually doing it. We mail them out for them. All right, goals and spiffs. It's really important to have monthly goals for salespeople to hit. It keeps it exciting. It keeps them driven. But there should be an incentive for them to hit that sales goal. So if that's not something that you're doing right now, that's also something you could do that might improve their performance a little bit. You need to collaborate to come up and determine goals along with your salespeople, inside salespeople, outside salespeople, virtual salespeople. You can use historical data, how they performed last year, what they sold in the month of June last year. And then this year, you're going to say, well, this is what you sold last year. You sold 100. This year, we want you to sell 125 in June. So that might be a good way to do it. If the person hasn't been with the company long enough to pull historical data, you might look at the person who's doing their job before them. You may look at what percentage of your sales are actual from on-site estimates. You can get some information that way as well, but you have the data to put together something that will work pretty good. Now, what you want when you're setting a sales goal is you want your sales reps to hit that goal. Right. So I would say you want them to hit it 50-60% of the time, maybe more, or you're probably setting them too high. If you're setting them too high, it's not going to have the impact that you're looking for it to have. You want them to have that money, but you want them to work for it as well. It's designed to make them work a little bit harder, but it needs to be attainable. We have a document for monthly goals that we go over. It documents the meeting you and your sales rep have had and adds accountability. Spiffs and bonuses. Variety matters. We do all sorts of different spiffs based on different KPIs. Here's a few of the ones that we've done, especially in the call center. We're always changing it up. Sometimes we have like 2 or 3 spiffs that they could hit, and they could potentially get all 3 of them. So it makes it kind of exciting. Every month is different. A couple that we've done is obviously booking percentage, highest closed revenue, a closed job bonus, which is we do $100 bonus when 10 of your jobs close during one calendar week. That means they actually close out, and then $10 for each additional. That's been a really fun one. Speed to answer, and that's information that you can get again from your VoIP. So somebody who's just like really fast at getting that phone. And then actually we're doing this month our sales rep. We're going to send somebody or bring somebody with us out to Louis Massaro's event, one of our sales reps, for hitting certain KPIs that we're looking for. And we set it up so anybody can hit it. We didn't do it on like highest closed revenue because we've got some newer reps in there. So we're looking for some other fun things. But anything you can think of can be a spiff. Just keep it interesting, really. All right, now we're going to get into some of the KPIs that we're looking at. We monitor weekly, monthly, and rolling 90-day averages, right? And we measure our reps' booking percentage, leads received to booked. So that's all the leads that come in. You may not even be able to get a hold of some of those leads, right? So it's all the leads that come in to booked, and then leads quoted to booked, and then on-site virtual to booked. Leads received to booked. If the number is low, so all the leads that come in to how that get converted to a booked job, if that number is low, that probably indicates that your sales rep struggles with the CMET process, right? Leads quoted to booked. If the number is low, might indicate that the sales rep needs improvement on their sales technique or not doing their follow-up. For some reason, they book only a few jobs that they've quoted. And then virtual on-site booked. Since closing ratios are high for face-to-face estimating, if this number is low, something is wrong. Perhaps the sales rep is failing to get the estimate to the customer in a timely manner or are not doing proper follow-up. Again, weekly, monthly, rolling 90-day. Leads, lost and bad leads, and total sales. Lost and bad leads. If the number of lost leads is high, investigate their activity with the customer in the CRM. You may learn what is causing this, like not doing proper follow-up, or you need to improve your lead sources. Total sales. Motivate your sales reps by showing them their total sales. The number will inspire them if they see it going up, especially during the busy season, and may give them the spark to hustle a little bit harder. All right. This is our sales rep scorecard. All right. This report, this is a great report. It reports on the health of your list of leads for a sales rep, right? For their total sales monthly goal versus where they're at or what they ended up selling. Their use of the phone if the rep is inside sales, and their total job value sold in 30, 60, and 90 days. And also goes over their booking percentage for 30, 60, and 90 days. So we love this form so much. We're using it for all of our sales reps that we want to give it away free for you guys. And right here, if you scan this QR code, you can download a free PDF of it.
Oh, Tim, that is awesome. That was the one main question I think we keep getting is
take a picture of that real quick.
And it's all right if we share this with the group after the fact, Tim.
Taking feedback. Turn reporting into a coaching conversation. Reporting numbers don't lie, but that doesn't mean that reps will easily accept them. Am I doing good on time?
So we are right at the bubble, Tim. Right at the bubble here.
Oh, gotcha. The link is in the chat as well.
Yeah, and it's okay if we
consistent
share this with
customer
the
feedback.
audience.
Sales reps may be recognizing a pattern with customer complaints, pushback and rebuttals, seasonal changes, or issues with availability.